Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's talk about your home recording studio today. It's another box. I'm excited about this one. Let's tear into this real quick and see what we got here today. I was going to take one of my very first YouTube checks. Yeah, this is a small channel. I don't really make a lot off of this, but any small amount that I do make, I like to kind of turn around and reinvest. That's what I used for the Behringer $100 home studio, which I still need to finish all that stuff up and give that away. This time I was going to do a review of the SE Reflection Filter X. It's like a $100 little reflection filter. I just wanted to see for myself. I've never used one. I want to see if it worked. I went to Sweetwater. I was about to pull the trigger, and then I saw this thing, and I thought this was much more intriguing, and so I changed my mind at the last minute. This is the Roland Rubix 22. It's a 2-in, 2-out audio interface. It runs for $150 US. Which prices it exactly the same as the Focusrite 2i2 and the Steinberg UR22 Mark II. Now this one seems to be marketed as a direct competitor to the Steinberg because it really has a similar feature set. I think this and the Steinberg kind of on paper, outclass the 2i2 just feature per dollar, I guess, right? What really makes me interested in this thing is that it takes the features of the 2i2 and it adds a couple extra things like a 5-pin Midi in and out, which I know these days not exactly a huge selling point with so many Midi devices going through USB today, but still 5-pin in and out Midi is really cool. And also it has a couple other features that I think are just kind of cool, cool additions over the 2i2. It has a ground lift, it has a switchable power supply, and it actually has a mono stereo switch for the outputs, which I think that's kind of cool. Might come in handy sometimes. So, all right, hey, let's take a look at what comes in the box. All right, well, let's get this box open and see what all is in here. All right, let's see. All right, cool, no tape to contend with. That's good. All right, so first things first, we have our manual. Actually, it looks like a pretty thick manual in there. A couple other things in there. We'll take a look at that in a second. Got some padding. All right, so yes, we come with a USB cable. Looks like probably a 6-footer, probably a 6-foot USB cable. And the unit itself. All right, he's all packed away in here. Let's take a look. Get the box out of the way too. So yeah, everything that's in the box. You got your manual, you got your cable, you got your unit itself. All right, actually good kind of hefty weight to it here. Let's see, we've got on the front panel, we've got a gain control for each of the two inputs. We have two XLR and 1/4 inch combo inputs. It looks like input number 1 is switchable between high Z and low Z, so you can use that as an instrument input or a line input or a microphone input. That's kind of cool. Over here on input 2, looks like there's no switching, so it's probably just a mic level that it would be expecting. Yes, individual controls for input 1 and 2. They got a nice kind of stiff resistance to them, got kind of like a nice quality feel. They wobble just a little bit, but not much. They're probably surface mounted on the board behind it. That's all right. The buttons have a nice kind of good push resistance kind of feel to them. I like that. We have separate, independent output controls and headphone controls. That's cool. So we got a headphone input on the front. We have 2 1/4 inch TRS line level outputs on the back. And so this would control the 2 outputs on the back. This would control the headphones on the front. All right. All right, this is good. This is really good. Let's take a look at the back here. On the back, we have the ability to switch our power source between a 5-volt DC over here. But it uses this kind of funky little kind of micro USB looking thing. I'm not exactly sure where you get an adapter, a wall adapter, to plug that into. I don't know, maybe you could use a separate USB cable like you would to charge your phone. Actually, out of curiosity, I got one right here. Is that the same connector? Let's see. Oh, it is. Cool. If I plug that in, oh, holy moly, it comes to life. Huh, cool. All right, all right. So if you don't want to use your USB cable to power it, you can use a separate USB cable to power it. Huh. All right, cool. Or you can just flip it over here and it'll be bus powered right off your USB input that you're using for I/O. The cool feature, we got Midi 5-pin in and out, which is, I think that's a great feature, not offered on enough interfaces nowadays for any electronic musicians. If you're using any MIDI input, MIDI equipment that doesn't have USB capability, then this is good. I like the 5-pin better than USB simply because it gives you more flexibility in the length of cable you use. For a USB, I think it has an effective maximum length of somewhere around 15 feet or so. And even at that length, you may or may not run into problems, but MIDI can run over a much longer cable. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility in a home studio of where you're going to put your MIDI devices. So you don't have to have your keyboard right next to your computer or anything. If you wanted 20 or 25 foot cable to run along one wall and then along the other wall and over to where your keyboard is, I think that's pretty cool. We have a switch here for either mono. Well, it looks like we have a several position switch here. So we've got, and this is for our direct monitor. So either to the off position, so no direct monitor. Although this is kind of funky that this is on the back of the unit instead of on the front. Seems like this would be more handy if it were somewhere on the front panel, because this is something you might switch on and off quite frequently. So we have no direct monitoring when it's switched all the way to off. In the middle position, we have direct monitoring in stereo. And over here we have direct monitoring in mono. So that's kind of cool. All right, all right. We have another really cool feature here. So we have either a ground lift. So over here on this position, NOR, I take it that means normal. And flip it over this way and that will lift the ground. So if you're using this maybe with a laptop and the laptop's running off of AC power, I've heard of a lot of people having troubles with having ground loops and buzzes and hums and things. So if you're experiencing that, you can try lifting the ground here and see if that helps your ground loop problem. All right, cool. I like that a lot. And then of course we have our left and right main outputs that would go to your monitors, to your speakers. All right. Wow, yeah, it's a good looking unit here, just kind of simple and understated. We have a few little pointers here on the top about what connection is what. It's just all black with the Roland logo on the top of it. All metal chassis, which is nice. I like the all metal. Even the bottom, everything is just all metal. Some rubber feet, serial number. Yeah, that's a sharp looking unit. It's heavy. I would say that this probably weighs in at a couple of pounds. So all right, here, you take a look at a little bit of B-roll and I'm gonna read off a couple of the specs about it so we get an idea of what all the marketing materials say about this. So of course, this is a USB audio interface. The form factor puts it at a desktop form factor as opposed to a rack mount. Our simultaneous inputs and outputs are 2x2, so you can have 2 inputs and 2 outputs all operating at the same time. The analog to digital resolution is up to 24-bit and 192 kilohertz, which is very nice. The analog inputs, we have one XLR and 1/4-inch combo that is capable of mic, line, or high impedance, and the other that is an XLR and 1/4-inch combo that is capable of either mic or line inputs. For the analog outputs, we have 2 1/4-inch TRS. For the headphones, we have 1 1/4-inch TRS. For MIDI, we have in and out. The USB has one Type B connector and one micro Type B connector for power. Software included in the package is Ableton Live Lite. Requirements for the operating systems on the Mac side, it works with OS X 10.10 or later, or iOS 9 or later. For the PC, it works on Windows 7 or later. On the power supply, it is USB bus powered. Or, of course, you can use the micro USB as a power source. And it weighs in at 2 pounds and 4 ounces, which I really believe after handling it. All right, so I'm really excited to actually give this a bit of a workout here. So let's try a few things. Let's use the mic inputs. Let's use its phantom power. Let's use a dynamic mic as well and a condenser mic. Let's try the instrument input, and let's try the MIDI inputs and outputs and just kind of see what we can get working with this thing, all right? Let's take a look. All right, now that we've had a look at the features, let's actually try to use this thing. So first things first, I guess we're going to get the old USB cable out and give it a try. Well, that did not go smoothly. Okay, well, that bag will never hold a cable again. All right, get this guy out of the way. I'm assuming this is another 6-foot cable. That seems to be kind of the standard thing that they're supplying with 2x2 interfaces. And oh, actually shorter than, well, okay, yeah, maybe right at 6 feet. Maybe 6 feet. All right, so let's get the USB-B plugged into this side. There we go, and USB-A. I'll just plug into the front panel of my recording computer. That may or may not reach. Over here. All right, we get the same lights flickering. All right, well, first thing we got to do now that we've got it plugged in is let's install the drivers. Okay, so I'm going to go to the start menu. I'm going to look at, I'm just going to type update, which you can't see, but I'm just going to do the check for updates thing here. And what I want to see right here is, okay, feature, I am running version 1709. So that's the version I'm running. Oh, and I have a pending update, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm in the middle of making a video. So, okay, I'm on 1709. What did it say here? If you're using 1703, so yeah, creators update and after. Okay, let's do that one. All right, so I tell it to download the file. It looks like he is downloading version 107. Okay, I like this. Pre-installation was successful. This wasn't actually installation. This is pre-installation. We were thinking about installation. All right. Now we're completing installation. Oh my goodness. You must restart your computer to complete installation. It's 2017. Restarting. You're installing new files. Nothing is going to be in use. But you force a restart. Oh, okay, all right, we're playing ball. We'll play along here. So one moment while I restart my computer and restart the recording of my desktop and everything, all this stuff. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm back at a desktop now. I had to do a reboot there to get the drivers fully installed. You know, Roland, other companies don't force a reboot after installing drivers. Most other interfaces just work once you install the drivers. You don't have to reboot. All right, so maybe off to a little bit of a rocky start with the drivers and everything, obtaining them, getting them downloaded, getting them installed. But hey, nothing too huge, nothing too bad has happened or anything. Just what to me are annoyances, but honestly, not so bad so far. All right, we still have a power indicator here, so that's good. Let's see if Reaper actually recognizes this thing. I'm kind of curious what happens here. So, all right, so I got Reaper fired up here. Let's go to the options, let's go to preferences, and let's go to audio device. And let's see, audio system definitely ASIO. Let's see here, we have ASIO for all, nope. Behringer USB audio, nope. Roland Rubix, all right. Let's load that. Let's see if it sees all of our ins and outs. So in 1 and 2, out 1 and 2. I'm gonna get rid of the request sample rate here and request block size. And let's actually click on the ASIO configuration. I'm curious if Roland has supplied their own ASIO control panel or not, so you can actually adjust the ASIO buffer size and different parameters here. Let's see what happens. Hey, all right, they actually do. This is good. I'm happy. This makes me really happy. I love seeing this. All right, so current sample rate is 44.1. Our buffer settings, wait, what? USB streaming mode, what is this supposed to mean? Is this a buffer size scale kind of thing? Come on, let us just pick the number of samples we want in the buffer instead of doing, Focusrite does this crap too, and it annoys me to no end. And then it's just, okay, blah, 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 some info. Okay, fantastic. So I guess this is what we're left with. I have no idea. Let's just leave it at its default setting and see. So, and it's at 44.1. I see no way in here at all to change the sample rate, and I see no way other than whatever USB streaming mode is. There's just no direct control over bit depth, sample rate. Those are basic things every ASIO control panel should have. This one tries to dumb it down. I'm not a fan. But all right, we'll leave it at its default here. I'm going to say OK. And up here in the upper right-hand corner, we see, holy crap, that is terrible. Okay, so at 44.1, 24-bit, 2 in, 2 out, and it says it at 800 samples, and we're looking at a 22 millisecond latency in one direction, 30 milliseconds in the other. That is unacceptable. If you try to use that for monitoring through software, if you're going to use amp sims on a guitar, if you're going to play your bass or something like that through it, that is unacceptable. Way too high. So let's go back to the preferences. Let's go back to ASIO configuration, and let's play with this little thing here and see streaming mode. So let's go all the way to 1, because I have no idea. This scale is meaningless to me. I have no idea what any of these values are supposed to represent. So let's go all the way to 1 extreme, and let's say OK. Oh, hey, that's better. That's much, much, much better. So that says 80 samples. That's actually really tiny. Then we're still at 44.1. But we're looking at a 3.4 millisecond in each direction being reported by the drivers. That's much, much, much better. Yeah, totally acceptable. But at 80 samples, that's a really tiny ASIO buffer size. I'm a little worried that we might start running into some pops and clicks and things like that. A lot of computers in the world are not going to like an 80 sample buffer. That's pretty tiny. But let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm just gonna create a new track here. The input, it's a mono input, and yeah, let's just use input 1. This one, I guess I gotta decide what I'm gonna plug into this thing. How about, let's call this acoustic guitar. And okay, yeah, so he's 1-1. I'm gonna grab a microphone real quick. Okay, what I'm going to plug in here is this old Shure SM81. This is a condenser microphone, which means it's going to need phantom power. So we're actually going to give a little bit of workout to our phantom power switch here. Going to use just one of them with an XLR to XLR cable. All right, let's get this feller plugged in. One end into the mic. And the other end is going to go, let's see here, let's just use input number 1 here. And let's see how this works. All right, good deal. Now, what I know we're going to need is phantom power. So let's turn that on. Oh, we get a little blinky green light, but that's it. So we just get kind of a momentary indication that we've changed the phantom power status. So I turn it off, we get one green blink. Turn it on, we get one green blink. Okay, all right. Get the manual out of the way. We don't need no thinking manuals until I can't figure out why it's doing something it's doing. All right, all right. Okay, and just like last time, instead of plugging this into monitors, I'm gonna plug it into my recording device. So I have I have an insert cable here, which is 2 TS into 1 1/8" TRS. So that's what I'm going to use to just plug into the outputs of this. And then I'm just going to use this as my device. So let's see here. There's left and right. No, right is not red. It goes that way. All right. All right, I'm gonna plug a pair of headphones into the interface. And let's, my adapter. Yeah, so it is a 1/4 inch. sometimes my adapter gets stuck in the input of my other interface. So here we go. Get you plugged in just right into the old headphone input there. All right, got my guitar. My mic is kind of out of frame here. It's just the goofy way I got things set up here, so you can't really see it, but you have to take my word for it. I've got it pointing kind of at the lower bout of the guitar, just about where the neck meets the body. So let's start turning up the input. I think this is in frame enough. I have a feeling this is where we're gonna see the indication. So let me, all the way down, of course I see nothing. I'm gonna turn about halfway up. Still no signal indication. Turn it up even farther, about 3/4 of the way. Oh yeah, now we get nice green. All right, cool. I got the mic about maybe 4 or 5 inches away from the body of the guitar, a little close, but that's just what I'm gonna have to do in this kind of setup here. I'm gonna turn the gain. Let's just turn it all the way up. Yeah, see, it turns red for that clip indicator. It's green for, just because I'm talking is a solid enough signal for it to turn green. Yeah. So cranked all the way up. All right, yeah, and an SM81, not a particularly sensitive microphone. So that's pretty good that we get enough gain out of it that, out of the preamp here, that we can clip it even with kind of a not so sensitive microphone. So that's a good sign that it's got a pretty good dynamic range on it. I'm gonna back that gain back down to maybe 3/4 of the way. All right, that's actually really good here. And not exact, here, let me hold this up so you can kind of see where I got the knob set and everything. So yeah, with an SM81 condenser mic, about 2/3 of the way to max, maybe 3/4 of the way to max there. All right, now I'm gonna start turning up the headphone output. So you're not gonna hear anything, but hopefully I will hear something. Actually, where is our direct monitor? Let's go take a look at our direct monitor settings here. And direct monitor is now set to mono, which I think is fine. That should be fine. We don't want it off, and I don't really care about stereo. I've only got one signal right now, so. Let's see what we got here. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can turn it up and hear myself in the headphones. Yeah. All right, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I hear it in the headphones. So now that I have direct monitoring on, so what's coming in the inputs should just go straight back out the outputs and hopefully go to my recorder so you can hear what I'm hearing. So I'm gonna turn output halfway up. Little weak, so I'm gonna turn the output maybe 2/3 of the way up. And I'm gonna turn it maybe 3/4, maybe 80%. All right, let's crank it all the way up and see what happens. And since I can't hear what's coming out through there, actually here, let me plug my headphones into the recorder. Whoops. So I can hear what you hear. All right. Yeah, I think that sounds okay as far as I can tell. I don't think it's like the loudest kind of signal, so I would be a little curious how well this unit would actually drive a pair of monitors. It might have a little bit of low output from what I can tell here. I guess I won't really know until I try to play something maybe from the computer back through here, monitor through software or play an MP3 or something. But yeah, for right now, having that cranked all the way up having a strong input signal and direct monitor on doesn't really seem to be just like killing it with output volume, but it is outputting a signal. Actually, just out of curiosity, what would happen if I set our direct monitor to stereo? So that's the middle position there. See if that changes anything. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, actually it does. So it makes it to where, so I have a mono signal coming in, so just one signal coming in, and with direct monitor set to stereo, I end up only hearing out of one side. So if we flip it back to the mono position, yeah, now I hear it out of both sides. So yeah, I have a feeling that's gonna throw a few new people. You know, the mono stereo is a little tough to understand at first. So there's something to take note of. All right, so we've tried it with a microphone. Let's try just plugging an instrument directly into it and use the high Z input on mic input number 1. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, so I grab a instrument cable, plug one side just right into the bass, and the other side where is the other side? Okay, and the other side, let's just plug straight into the input number 1, the combo input, and I'm gonna flip the high Z button here. Again, I get a little momentary green blink there to let me know it understood, it heard me. Give me one moment to untangle my cables. All right, cool, get my headphones back on. And again, there's the what you hear versus what I hear. So I'm gonna turn the output monitor back to 50% and then my headphone monitor to 50% as well. Direct monitor is still on mono because I'm working with a mono input source here. So, all right, let's see. All right, good. All right, that's getting a red light. So it's just a little hot. I'm gonna crank it down to maybe 50%. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna turn, I can see on my recorder that's pretty quiet for you, so I'm gonna turn the output volume to about 3/4. I think that's louder for you. I'm gonna turn my headphones up a little bit so it's louder for me. All right, I haven't tuned this bass for ages, so apologies. All right, yeah, I think that's pretty strong. I'm gonna turn the output, let's just turn the output all the way up and see where it goes. Okay, yeah, it's solid, it's strong, but it's not just like overwhelmingly loud. I do wonder a little bit about the output strength of the line outputs. All right, all in all, there's not much really to go over here, but yeah, really a instrument direct in with the with the high Z button push there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It seems to be a little sensitive. Now, these are passive pickups on a bass. If you're using like a guitar or a bass with active pickups, yeah, that might be a concern. I know that was a concern with the first generation of the Focusrite 2i2, was that people with really hot pickups trying to go direct into it would just clip the input, even if they had the gain all the way down on the input. I don't have active pickups here to try that out with, so I don't know. But the pickups on this, this is just a MIM Fender precision bass. So it just has whatever the stock passive pickups are on it. Not particularly hot, but you know, they're relatively strong. They're just not like super smoking hot or anything. And I have to put the input gain down about halfway or so to keep it from clipping. So maybe a concern, maybe something to investigate a little further. Unfortunately, I just don't have anything on hand hot enough to really test it to see how low I would have to turn it down to accommodate hot pickups. Okay, let's play around just a little bit with the drivers. Let's play around with that ASIO control panel, because I'm really kind of curious with the small amount of information that this thing gives us, what we can expect here. So let me just go through a few of these and let's see how this setting reflects, because you know, the way it was just at least direct monitoring, on this number 1 setting, whatever that means, with the 80 samples at 44.1, you know, it sounded good. At least the conversion on the unit itself is doing well. Although I am a little curious if we can record that way. Although I am a little curious, this thing purports to be able to do 24-bit at 192, but they don't give you any way in their software to set it to record at 192,000 samples per second. I'm a little kind of curious if it can do it or not. And since they don't seem to, with their drivers, encourage it in any way, let's just close this and let's go by Reaper here. So first, I'm going to check this box. It says request a sample rate of 48K. And our block size, I think even with my Fireface, I think I usually leave it at 128. So let's leave it at 128. We'll request that. And let's see what kind of latency we see here. It did not honor it at all. Okay. Yeah, so Reaper was not able to override that at all. So it's still set to, it did set it to 48K, but it kept it at 80 samples. It didn't honor the requested buffer size. So, okay, all right. I'll click on that again and let's go to ASIO configuration. So let's try a couple of these here and let's see what number 2 is. And I think I have to say okay here. Okay, that just made it a 144 sample buffer size. Okay, so really it appears, let's try just like a couple more. Let's try that other extreme setting, like the 8 or whatever. Why does that keep hiding? Okay. Or 7. Let's try 7. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty terrible, but let's see what happens. Oh my goodness, so that was 2,304 samples, and that's going to yield 52 milliseconds plus 80 milliseconds. Holy crap, let's not use that. All right, so apparently we don't have control over the sample size through Reaper, but the buffer size through Reaper, but we do have control of the sample rate. So I'm just going to set it to its smallest buffer size. And let's see if we can record a little snippet here at 48K, at the smallest buffer size. So if I say okay, yeah, 80 samples, 48K. Let's try this real quick. All right, now for this next part, I want to hear what this thing is actually outputting. So rather than going through direct monitor and then just listening straight into my headphones, I'm going to turn the direct monitor off. Let's switch this around here. And I think it is if I put it all the way to the right. There's the off position there, if you can see it. I keep whacking my guitar and stuff here. I got too much going on in a small space. This is getting complicated. Okay. Just for monitoring purposes, see. Right, okay, so now I don't hear anything. I don't think you hear anything except for what's coming through my lav mic. All right, now here in Reaper, I have this set to input number 1. That's where I'm plugged in. Let's turn on monitoring and let's arm it for recording. And let's see if I actually hear a little something. Nothing. And I don't see anything. Oh, the phantom power is not turned on. So let me engage phantom power, because this is a condenser mic I'm recording through. We'll give it just a couple seconds here. All right. Hey, there we go. Again, I haven't tuned this guitar for quite a while either, so sorry if it's a little wonky. But I'm on a roll here. All right. Yeah, this is no time to work on mic position. All right, so yeah, at 48K. So let's just record a little snippet and see how it goes. All right, yeah, the waveform is a little weak there, so even though I'm getting, here, let me stop that real quick. And of course, I'll save it. That was a masterpiece. The waveform looking a little shallow there, looking a little shabby. And yeah, actually, I'm not even getting a... Okay, so I got my gain adjusted here, and yeah, that's coming through pretty solid there. So let's just record a little snippet and see how it goes. 48K at 80 samples per second. Or I'm sorry, an 80 sample buffer. All right, okay, let's hear it back real quick. Of course, we'll save it. It was a masterpiece. And let's see, what am I looking for? Alt-Shift-T, I think. Doink. There we go. All right, play. Huh, okay, all right, cool. All right, okay, let's hear it back real quick. Actually, yeah, on playback, that sounded exactly how I heard it in my headphones when monitoring, so that's good. My mic position's not too great here, but whatever. All right, let's see if we can, let's crank it up on the sample rate a little bit and see if it still holds together. Let's see here, let's do 96K, so 96,000. And we'll just say okay. All right, so he, as far as I can tell here, looks like he says he is at 96K, 24-bit, 144 samples. So it kind of changed up the buffer size for us there. So maybe it just automatically selected one. Let's click this and see. Over on buffer settings, it still says 1. So if I go back to OK, no, so at 96K, 1 apparently means 144 samples. At 48 and 41K, apparently 1 means 80 samples. So I guess it kind of scales with the sample rate, which makes sense. I would still like more control over it, but whatever. Okay, well, let's try recording a little something with that and see what happens here. All right, of course it's a keeper, and let's do our Alt-Shift-T thing again here. Just want to crop it to active take, and let's play it and see. Okay, yeah, it's still held together. That's good. Still held together, no pops, no clicks, nothing like that. Let's push it a little harder, and let's just take it all the way to what it advertises it can do. And it says it can do 192K, so 192,000. That's a lot of samples every second. Hey, I am still getting monitoring through it. That's good. Sounds like you can hear me as well. All right, good deal. Well, let's try to record a little snippet here and see if it holds together at 192. All right. Let's give it a quick listen here and see. All right, yeah, it did. It held together. All right, well, that's really cool. That's a good sign that it can do what it advertises. Although, maybe we can take it one step farther. Can it do 2 inputs at the same time at 192 with acceptable latency? Let's try. All right, this time I'm armed with a stereo bar and not 1, but 2 SM81s. So I'm just gonna put them on a stereo bar, put them in an XY configuration. I don't think you'll be able to see, but that's what'll be going on. I'm gonna hard pan them left and right, and let's see if we can do 192, 2 tracks at a time with that buffer size and see if it works. All right, so over in Reaper, let's, here, I'll get rid of the trash from those previous takes, and I'm just gonna duplicate this track and set him to input number 2. Keep everything else the same, record arms on, great. Okay, I'm going to hit the phantom power button here. Oh, we got kind of a big kaboom there. Again, I'm gonna turn direct monitoring off. There we go. Well, I think that's off. Is it off? No, that was the mono. Off, there we go. Direct monitor is off. I still hear some phasing though in my headphones, so I have a feeling I'm picking it up from somewhere. Oh, that's right, monitoring is on in software. All right, let me just strum a thing or two here. Okay, got good signal on the left, and I'm gonna crank the right to where it looks about the same. And, okay. All right, okay, good. I'm gonna back up from it a little bit there. Sorry, my guitar is way out of adjustment. But at least it's kind of in tune. All right, I'm not getting signal indicator on mic 2. Let's turn that up a little. Yeah, I still don't think it's quite hearing the same. Okay, all right, well, at 192, here, let me hard pan these left and right. And 100% left for, now we'll make number 2 will be 100% right. We'll make you 100% left. Okay, all right. All right, all right. All right, yeah, let's record that real quick and see how it sounds. All right. We'll save both of those. They are panned. Let me turn off monitoring so I'm not hearing the microphone still. All right, let's just hit play. yeah, I have to say I'm pretty impressed to be able to my ears, with no degradation in quality, to be able to just simply off of bus power be able to phantom power 2 microphones, record at 192. Yeah, that's actually, I'm pretty impressed by that. All right, cool. All right, the last feature I want to take a look at here with this thing is the MIDI in and out. You know, again, it's not just a huge selling point these days with the prevalence of USB MIDI, but I do like to use 5-pin MIDI whenever I can. It just so happens none of the MIDI devices I have in the room right now actually use 5-pin MIDI. So what I went down to the basement and found my Xboard 49, my EMU MIDI controller. It's a big 49 key thing. And let me see if I can get it set up here. It has 5-pin MIDI on the back of it. I'll plug into here, and we'll just kind of see what the response is like from it. All right, just out of frame here, I got the old Xboard 49 out. On the back, I'm not sure if you can make it out from there, but yeah, it's got a 5-pin, but only a MIDI output. There's no MIDI input into the keyboard, so I'm only gonna be able to test the MIDI input into the Roland and not the MIDI out. So, there's one feature I can't really give a workout to, but let's get the 5-pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-pin. Plugged in. Man, this is getting messy in here now at this point. Trouble of reviewing a box that has as many features. Takes a lot of gear. All right, I'm into the back of my keyboard, and let's do into MIDI in here. All right, there we go. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna delete the guitar tracks here, and let's just mute both of those guys. Oh, sorry, I'm using my leg as a mouse pad, so my mouse is a little wiggly here. I'm just gonna create a new one, and I'm gonna, oh my goodness, that's not gonna work. All right, let's do it here. Create a new track, and on this one, as an input, I'm gonna go to MIDI, and I'm going to do, oh, it doesn't see, yeah, none of those are this device. Okay, all right, I think what I have to do is go into Options and Preferences, and under MIDI devices, I believe that now I have to enable, yeah, so Rubix 22 as a MIDI input is disabled, so let's enable him and say okay. Let's see if it lets us select that now. Yeah, Rubix 22, yeah, we'll just call it all channels. All right, I'm gonna put the monitoring on and record ARM on, even though we're not gonna hear anything because I don't have a VST loaded or a VSTi loaded to actually produce the sounds. All we're gonna see is if MIDI data makes it. Here, let me hit a key, and yeah, we can see on the track it's actually passing it through. Let's see on the unit itself, do we get any indication? I don't see any lights lighting up or anything like that to indicate that we're getting MIDI signal through here, but I do see it in Reaper, so that's good. All right, cool. Well, let's load up a VSTi. And in this case, let's drive like Superior Drummer through it. And yeah, that kit will do. And let's see here. Let's see how it does. All right, cool. Yeah, seems very responsive. I don't know the key mapping at all. I thought I did, but I thought that was kick. All right, let me transpose an octave down. There it is. All right, cool, yeah. It sounds responsive, it sounds really fast. I don't hear any sort of, delay or anything. It's just... All right, cool. That's good, yeah, nice and fast, nice and responsive. All right, yeah, so 5-pin MIDI input on the unit works great. All right, well, that is the Roland Rubix 22, the 2-in, 2-out of the Rubix family. There are some bigger brothers in the line. They, of course, scale in price. This one retails for $150 US. Honestly, I think that's a great deal. I think that I would pick this over the Scarlett 2i2 any day, just because of the few added features. Even if you're not going to use the Midi in and out, but still the ground lift, the dual power supply, and the ability to switch your direct monitor to mono or stereo, depending on if you're using 1 or 2 inputs. I think that's really cool, actually. Some really good features here. The preamps sound fine as far as I can tell. I can't say that they just wow me, but in a $150 interface, you're not really going to find that. I think they're solid, good low noise preamps. I had the gain on the preamps turned pretty high here, and I didn't really notice any huge noise. Maybe, I'll take another listen in post to see kind of how all that stuff sounds. The output volume seems just a little low. I think that's okay, and for the most part, you're probably going to have those outputs plugged into a pair of studio monitors, into a pair of audio monitors, and they probably are going to have some sort of trim or gain of their own that you can adjust that. And plus, for studio monitors, you're probably not going to just want to crank them up as loud as they can go anyways. The unit itself, I think it looks great. I think it's an attractive little box, just straightforward, simple, not trying to be fancy, doesn't look plasticky or anything. It's all metal. The face of it might be plastic, I can't really tell, but I know the rest of the body's all metal. A good, solid, sturdy little unit. I would have to say this would be a pretty good buy. In that $150 range, it's definitely directly opposed to the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, the Steinberg UR22 Mark II, and the PreSonus. They have it's one of the audio box kind of series that they have right at that price point. Another, they're all 2-in, 2-out. I haven't used the Steinberg or the audio box. I have used a first generation 2i2, and I thought it was great. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it at all. I think I would pick this one over that just because of the added features at the same price. And I think it's probably a toss-up between this and the UR22. They're very similar feature sets. This does still have the ground lift and the direct monitor switches, which are pretty cool over the UR22. But really, yeah, so I think in that $150 class of entry-level audio interface, the 2-in, 2-out, man, I'm pretty impressed by this little guy. Maybe I'll get a chance to try some of the other ones right in that price range and see if they impress me as much. But right now, I would have to say this would be the forerunner at the $150 price point. Well, okay, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you have any questions, any comments, any experiences of your own that you would like to add with this little box, leave it in the comments down below the video here. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.